Sacred woman I am. With bare feet I walk across the river stones. Water in my blood and the earth in my bones. I tend a fire in my heart so I am never alone. Sacred woman I am.
Hello and welcome to Rite of Passage, breaking the silence around menopause. My name is Michela and today I talked to Sally Dunne. With Sally, we discussed traditional Chinese medicine, mainly acupuncture and somatic movement, and how these medicine techniques can help us alleviate the symptoms we experience through these transition years. Sally has many years of experience. She's a yoga and mindfulness teacher. She is a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. She's also a Shiatsu massage therapist and somatic movement teacher. We had a beautiful conversation, and she gave us little gems to take home with us and practical advices on how to alleviate the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, and how the help of a therapist can help you move through these transition years in a smoother and balanced way. It was a really interesting conversation. I really enjoyed talking to Sally, and I hope you'll enjoy listening. Hello, Sally. Thank you for being here, and welcome to Rite of Passage.
Thank you, Michela. Lovely to be here.
So I guess the first thing I want to ask you, what is traditional Chinese medicine?
Oh, that is such a big topic. But basically, I think most of us know it through acupuncture, which I think has become so mainstream now. I think people are very familiar with the idea of that there is another way to look at the body, and that Chinese medicine can offer that. It's a very gentle treatment. Acupuncture, I suppose most people probably have if they haven't had it, they certainly know people who've had it. But it seeks really to rebalance the body.
Yeah.
And traditional Chinese medicine, of course, also includes herbal medicine. The use of herbs, which you can get very simply in little pill form, very easy to take, or you can actually get the actual roots and barks and actually cook up a little tea. It's great fun, little ritual making, things like that. But simply, I think most of us know is through the acupuncture. And I can tell you more about that.
And for example, you're an acupuncturist, you have been doing this for many years, so what is menopause and perimenopause in traditional Chinese medicine? How do you approach someone coming to you, with the symptoms, basically?
Yeah, I mean, most people would be coming with very specific symptoms that they want to get rid of, to be honest. I mean, mostly it's going to be, the hot flushes, the night sweats. For some people, it's low mood and maybe feeling quite low in themselves, feeling quite unhappy at this change that's going on, or perhaps not even understanding why they might be feeling this way about it. Surely it's a natural thing, but I don't feel it's very comfortable. So usually very specific symptoms, as I say, and that sort of sense of heat in the body. That kind of comes at times where most inconvenient, perhaps in the middle of something you're doing, or if you're at work, or if you're whatever, it's something you just really would like to change. But other things can really come up as well, maybe more headaches, or if people have had a history of migraine, that can kind of, bring that on a bit more. Certainly sleep can be an issue, but even just swings in mood and how you're feeling yourself and finding yourself flying off the handle for, where did that come from?
Yeah.
So, it can really impact quite a lot for some of us.
Yeah. And would you use acupuncture for that, herbal medicine? What would you use?
I am a herbalist, but mostly acupuncture. I would be really looking at, I'd be really looking at selecting certain points to treat what's going on. And simply we could look at it, balance. So we know this idea about yin and yang.
Yeah.
So yin being the cooling, moistening, relaxed, that kind of aspect of the body, whereas yang is more the active, get up and go, heat. That's part of yang. And what happens, we'd like it to be nice and balanced and everything keeping each other in balance. But when we get into menopause, our yin decreases. So as we obviously get older, our yin changes and becomes a little bit less. And so this then seems to become a little bit more active. So the heating aspect becomes more active. And
Mhm.
that's why we have these, what we call deficiency sweats, these night sweats.
Yeah.
And of course, then the hot flushes during the day. So it's about rebalancing, bringing up the yin. So we support the yin of the body. And there are certain points
Yeah.
and lifestyle things that, we talk about within a session that can help with all of that.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, that's fascinating because, it's, even, just not only in traditional Chinese medicine, but it's everywhere. It's about the balance, of masculine and feminine, of light and dark. So those energies needs to be in balance. And when we move through that passage, obviously, yeah, we can feel the shift inside of us, in different ways through different symptoms. As I was saying before, for me, it was like the depression. I didn't know where it was coming from because it wasn't every day.
Right.
It was out of the blue, and I didn't know why I was so anxious. And like waking up at night out of the blue, I was very, very anxious for something silly, like, very stupid things, really. And so I felt like, yeah, what's going on? That's why, when I was discussing that with my doctor, she said, oh, yeah, these are the perimenopausal symptoms. So, you're gonna, like, your hormones are going up and down, up and
Up
down.
and down.
So that the energy is going like, it's going like it's going like this, basically. Yeah. So yeah, and I remember doing traditional Chinese medicine, all the channels in the bodies, like, it was amazing. Yeah, it was really amazing, learning about these things, So yeah, acupuncture is great for these things, I
Yeah,
I did it years ago for um, period issues, but it's the same thing, really,
exactly.
We're talking
The
about
whole the whole menstrual cycle can really be helped so much with
yeah,
acupuncture,
yeah, yeah,
whatever the issue, just
yeah,
in terms of getting the flow good or whatever it is, or even helping a little bit with, maybe fertility. But
yeah,
coming at the other end of the cycle, when we get to the menopause stage, yes, getting balance again and
yeah,
balancing out the hormones
yeah.
and looking very specifically at different symptoms.
Yeah, because every woman is different, obviously. It's not just one cure
Yeah,
for all.
and some women don't have so many symptoms either, or there may be just
Yeah.
one or two things, or some people are kind of really passes them by, saying, "Oh, how did I come through that?"
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. And then, but then you might know that maybe your mom or sister has had an issue with it, and you're thinking, this could be difficult. So maybe in preparation, around the time, for example, that you're at,
Yeah.
Michela, the
Yeah.
idea of actually working with this now, and
Yeah.
then seeing how can I ameliorate this? How can I
Yeah.
make sure or help that these symptoms won't be quite so severe.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the body has to go through these changes. It's so natural, but we can make it just a little bit easier, a little bit gentler.
Exactly. Yeah. We have to go through the passage. There's no point in saying, no, I'm not going to go through it because we are going to go through it.
Yeah.
Some women.
And then the other thing, of course, is actually to add in things like mindfulness. And I do a lot of mindfulness teaching just to really help us calm down and face into gently what is
Yeah.
happening.
What is
Not
it?
pretending it's not happening, we're pushing it away, we're addressing it, we're
Yeah.
looking at it, and we're seeing what we can learn from it
Yeah.
and resting in that.
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing. When we have all these symptoms, it's not just, oh, what's happening to me? Okay, this is happening. So just focus, as we say, just go inside and see why this is happening, how I can move through this passage in a more balanced way, going through the ups and downs, obviously, but yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know, like, and every woman is different. My mom didn't feel anything.
Right, right.
So I was really hoping, like,
This
oh,
is so unfair.
I wasn't gonna
I
be
know.
like my mom. I'm not gonna feel anything. She said to me, one day I just stopped the, bleeding. That was it. Oh, really? Like, and it's okay. But it's not happening to me. To me, it's happening in a different way, which is fine. It's just the way it is, basically. Yeah. Sally, I want to ask you something. You do something that I'm really interested actually in doing myself, for myself, obviously, and I do some movements in that regard already when I do my own personal practice. You do somatic movement.
Yes. Oh, somatic movement. I have found it such an eye opener for myself and my own yoga practice. So I teach, yes, somatic movement. It is a way to literally retrain and re educate the muscle.
Yeah.
So it's like we all, most of us, have long held muscle tension, and no amount of stretching will change that length of that muscle, you know, and we'll change it. So it's like we have to re-educate the brain.
Yeah.
So we do these exercises, and they're really simple,
Mm-hmm.
but they're done very slowly
Mm-hmm.
and with mental focus.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, we contract a muscle,
Mm-hmm.
and then we slowly release that contraction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, we count it out. So we really slowly.
Yeah.
And that starts to reset
Yeah.
that length of the muscle and gives us that muscle that more ability to be flexible again.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are holding, you know, well, the obvious one is neck and shoulder tension or back tension or even our hamstrings or whatever it is, and we discover it during our yoga or even just through our daily activities, and or we can have quite a lot of pain
Mm.
due to these contracted muscles, and that there's nothing other than muscle tension that's causing it. So obviously one investigates to make sure there isn't anything else going on. But if it is down to muscle tension, somatic movement can help slowly and very gently and over time release that tension. So a class would involve teaching people a very specific set of exercises. Then they go away with those exercises, and I give them all the information and the sheets and little videos and all, and they can follow the practice at home.
Yeah. And I
So
think,
they do it for themselves.
yeah, exactly. You know, because when I started going through the whatever it is, you know, the process, and I started to feel a lot of tension, obviously, muscles that usually were, you know, especially around the hips, because, you know, as women, we hold a lot of tension and a lot of energy and memories in the hips and, you know, in the core, in the pelvic, bowel, you know, in everything is there. It goes there for women in our womb, basically. So when I started this process, it came to me naturally, actually, maybe because I do yoga, I don't know, but just, you know, to slow down, really slow down my practice and just do, as you were saying, just these movements where it's, you know, breathing out and moving very slowly into, you know, whatever
Yes.
position, I mean, and especially working around the womb area. That was, I mean, it's still helpful to me doing that almost every day. And, you know, because we tense so much around this, you know, this area in the womb. Yeah. Yeah.
So this, I think, is there's a subtle difference though between doing a somatic movement exercise and
Mhm.
something like yin yoga, where you hold a stretch for a long time.
Yeah.
That doesn't really reset the muscle length. It's
Mhm.
lovely and restorative and relaxing, and I love yin yoga. But somatic movement actually seeks to change that alpha gamma loop in the muscle. It actually
Amazing.
seeks
Wow.
to reset the
Yeah.
length of the muscle.
Wow.
And so we start with the back and the core muscles. Those are the first two exercises that everybody does. We start from the center and then we work through all the muscle groups out to the extremities. So each class would start with these very specific movements and then we build gradually working around the body. So you'd start with maybe even 3 or 4 movements in the first class and you'd be given that to go home and, you know, work away with, and then you see how the body's responding.
Mhm.
And then you add to that. So it's very quite specific, you know, and quite focused, and a program is given for the individual.
Okay.
Now you can do it in a class or a group, of course, but
Mhm.
also you can do it one to one.
One-to-one. Yeah. And is it better, like, let's say someone has menopause or a woman is going through the symptoms of perimenopause and she comes to you, and obviously you're going to work according to her specific needs, right? You know, it's not just, yeah.
Exactly. No, yeah, exactly. There will be specific ones that would be pertinent to everybody because
Yeah.
we all tend to have tight back muscles, you know,
Oh,
but
yeah.
specifically to an individual, you would actually go through the whole system of seeing how they are and what they feel in the body and
Yeah.
where they have a sense of what we might call amnesia in the muscle, where you actually don't feel
Wow.
them. Yeah, you know, and that can be just from overuse.
Mhm.
Um, and we, you know, we do things repeatedly all the day, don't we? And we sort of we don't break down our movements because we do them all the time. It's like driving the car, you know exactly what to do next, you know. But when we go back to somatic movement, we're breaking down things and we're seeing where is the tightness and where can we release that.
Yeah. 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 Yes. So exactly. So yeah, I guess it goes down to the individual then, you know, as well, you know, to go home and do the exercises and then, you know,
Build up that somatic awareness. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And it takes, how long does it take, you know, for, you know, if you do somatic movement, how long does it take to to feel some sort of release or relief?
I think gosh, people are so different and our levels of tension are so different. But I would think if you were doing it for a couple of weeks, you'd even begin to say, oh, yeah, I'm beginning to feel a little bit more length in my abdominal muscles. Most of us are overly, tight there, or in the back, you begin to feel a little bit more freedom. And that then, of course, gives us the encouragement to go back and do our regular, even 15, 20 minutes a day or every second day.
Yeah, and if a woman going through perimenopause or menopause, or even like approaching perimenopause, do you think the somatic movement would be something that they need to do to help them through the passage?
I think anything that will help the body be more comfortable can only be beneficial.
Yeah.
It's not going to obviously address the hormones or anything like that, but it's certainly going to help with muscle tension and generally a feeling more of ease in the body.
In the body, yeah.
And that's just a lovely thing,
It is because when we go through that stage, there is a lot of tension going on as well, not just physical, but energetic tension. Like we tend to resist.
Yes, and we tend to be quite judgmental.
Oh, yeah.
The inner critic perhaps can pop up. And, these movements are very slow and very focused, and we use the breath. So it's a very relaxing hour-long class. Yeah. So by the time at the end of it, we tend to be a little bit more calm and a little bit more relaxed. Well, and that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, especially, knowing how I feel sometimes, that's what I'm looking for, just the feeling of openness and relaxation in my body so that the energy can move freely. And as you were saying, with traditional Chinese medicine, you open the channels and then,
and you get this free flow. Qi should flow freely, free and easy wander. That's the name of a famous patent herb, which really is useful to take during stress. And so it's the idea of this energy should flow freely through the body. So, opening the 4 gates, letting the Qi flow, so there's less blockage in the body.
Yeah, exactly. I want to ask you something about, obviously, life changes. We change. Life changes as well because we change within and without. Everything changes. So what kind of changes a woman, according to you, like, in your opinion, what kind of changes a woman should make in her life to approach menopause in a balanced way?
More rest. Yes. Kidney energy. Yeah. The kidney energy in Chinese medicine supports so much in the body. And we work a lot with the kidney energy, particularly in yin deficiency, where we have the night sweats and the heat and all that kind of thing. But most women, when we get to that point, we're probably maybe the busiest we've ever been in our lives. We're working, or we've maybe children, or we've maybe projects, or we're trying to keep so many balls rolling, in the air, whatever. And so most of us, and if sleep is an issue, gosh, it really affects, doesn't it, our how we feel the next day. So the more rest and the more we can look at our sleep and get that sorted and find ways to down tools during the day, and that it's good to rest because you're really supporting the body so much.
Yes, yeah. No, I know, because when I don't do anything for whatever reason, because I'm busy going, and then at night I don't sleep very well because I feel like, oh no, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. No, the opposite, actually. It's actually, that's the opposite.
Yeah, we're wound up. We're so wound up. Yeah, exactly. That's really hard to. So transitioning slowly, whether it's your little meditation practice, or whether it's a little bit of your gentle yoga, or do your somatic movement exercises, or whatever it is. Or maybe I often tell a client specific acupuncture points to press. That they can press, like as I do shiatsu treatments as well. So that's using thumb pressure on the acupuncture points and along the whole meridian. So I suggest points that they can actually press for themselves as they breathe out. So they take a breath in, press the point on the exhalation. They might do that 3 times. So it's a little mini treatment they're giving themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And that helps.
So that gives them a little bit of power to address how they're feeling themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Power, because sometimes, we think, oh, yeah, I don't know what to do anymore. So just your power goes away. And, actually we have the power, so if we go, I don't know, to see an acupuncturist or an Ayurveda practitioner, whoever we want to see, or go to a yoga class, then we have the tools to bring home with us, and then we can use these tools. So the power is, we have the power to help ourselves and move through this process in a nice way, hopefully a nice way. It's not going to be nice every day,
I know
but
there's
yeah,
going to be ups and downs, but we can perhaps ameliorate those, make
yeah,
them a little bit less
yeah.
severe.
Yeah, so I remember years ago I was talking to my mom and I was asking her, I was telling her, I was so tired yesterday, I was doing so much, but then last night I couldn't sleep. And she said to me, you were too tired to fall asleep. And I said, well, I thought, it didn't make sense, but now it makes sense because, even the mind doesn't shut off, so it keeps going, and you can, all these energies, chaotic energies. So yeah, rest is very, very important.
Bring the energy down from the head to work with perhaps the feet, even do a little foot massage, work with
Right.
the acupuncture points in the feet, you know, little gentle stretching where the head goes lower than the heart, little forward bends, yourself, all of those things, gentle, getting down on the floor and
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
All those
Yeah.
things,
Get
simple,
it
but
done on the
we
floor.
just
Yeah.
need to do it.
Yeah, no, and then just remind, get down on the floor, get grounded, yeah. So the energy goes down, doesn't go upward. It goes where it needs to be, at the time of the night. And yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to ask you something else. Because we talked, with the other women I was interviewing, we talked about this subject, and I used to be in corporate Ireland for a long time. I worked for banks and I worked for an import and export company. So I did bits and pieces of, very stressful jobs, very masculine energy, So it was always going. And in all the places where I worked, I didn't see any type of support for women going through menopause because I worked with women that were going through that process, and I could see, from the hot flashes to, the moods, it was a difficult time for them. But, they had to come to work. So it was either, okay, I have to or stay at home and lose a day of pay, So it's just, it's going because, if you're not there, someone else is there and can take your place, So all these things going on in your mind as well. So they were doing what normally other men would do, come to work no matter what, but, with their body filled, full of pills and medications and stuff because, they had headaches, they had cramps, they have a pain in their joints,
Yeah,
whatever, they were taking. So it wasn't like an environment that was friendly or safe for a
yeah.
woman, So, I observed that for a long time, not only through menopause, but even during our periods. I was guilty myself, I was having my regular periods, but I had bad headaches sometimes. And I took a pill and I kept going. And then obviously one day it was either me or the job. So, I had to say, okay, this has to stop. I can't go on because corporate Ireland, it's designed in a masculine way. And that's the economy, how the economy goes, how the market is. It's very, very masculine. So, and I feel like there is a need there to implement certain, I don't know if little changes here and there to help women, keep their job while
Yes,
they go through menopause. So
yes.
do you think, that was my experience, but do you think there is a need for that in corporate Ireland?
Completely, absolutely, completely. And I think things are changing. And I do think the
Mhm.
companies who are clever
Mhm.
are trying to support women in some ways. But even the environment of the office at the most simplest level can be very difficult when you're going through the hot flushes and stuff. Because if you're in an open office situation, you can't open the window. Nobody wants the window open. The air conditioning is not set that where it's comfortable for you. I mean, that simplest thing
Yeah,
can just make your day so difficult.
yeah,
Um, so yes, I think there is a lot to be said about looking at that. I don't know what I could suggest to them, but certainly they need to look at the environment that women are sitting
yeah,
in open plan offices.
yeah,
you know, not directly sitting under the AC or, can we negotiate the window opening
yeah,
scenario or whatever. And that's at just one very simple level, but certainly to give a little bit more leeway and acknowledge that maybe we need to take a break from the table, get away for whatever, get outside, decent lunch break, so you can kind of get outside maybe and get some fresh air and maybe just find a bit of green grass to put your feet on so you can earth yourself. I do think there is a lot that could be done. I mean, I know some places put on yoga and put on different things, which is lovely. So that's a great support.
Yeah. I think things, as you say, things are changing a little bit now. I mean, when I was working, obviously, no one was talking about it. But yeah, hopefully things are changing. Hopefully, I don't know because I'm not there anymore. Thank God. But I know women that are still there. And they talk about these things. In private, obviously, because they feel like they can't discuss these things in public or with men as well. But I feel like men needs to be educated as well. They don't know what's happening in our body. They don't know how we feel. And so
Yes.
communication, at least for me, at this time, it's really, really important, talking to the people in my life, when I'm experiencing very bad moods and, I feel, telling them, this is a process. Today I'm feeling like this, so I don't feel like talking or going out or sharing. I just, and they appreciate that because when we talk and we express what's happening, they understand better, a little bit better what's going on with us. And so if we bring that on a different level into a workspace, into a work environment, into a company, to the company where we work, for example, we can start making little changes here and there. And I think because women at that age, they have great experience about life, about work, about lots of different things. We are becoming the wise ones. So, so sorry, my voice is going up and down. Helping us, it can help them as well, and create a very balanced workplace, because we have so much to offer, we are not just getting older, we are becoming wiser.
No, this is true. This
Yeah.
is true. Yeah.
So approaching that, so hopefully companies are going to make changes. And I know there is a company, I think someone was mentioning to me, I don't know where, I think in Dublin, they started to talk about making changes for women in menopause, which was great. It's a company, it's just one, but at least
it's a start.
Exactly. So when someone does it, then, other companies will follow, hopefully. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, finger crossed. Things are changing. Sally, is there anything else you want to add about traditional Chinese medicine and somatic movement in menopause that I didn't ask you want to talk about?
Just to say that, just to know that these things are out there, that they have something to offer.
Yeah.
And particularly acupuncture can really offer a lot. And I've seen in my practice people getting a lot of comfort out of the practice or out of the treatments, and a lot of results in terms of helping their symptoms.
Yeah.
So I think if somebody hasn't tried acupuncture before, it's a good way to even just to do a short series. Ideally, you'd need to do at least 3 or 4 sessions before you begin to see some changes, but that would maybe encourage you to then try and do a few more.
Exactly. And I can testify to that because I used that years ago when I was having issues with my period. And, I did.
How often did you get your treatment?
I actually did it for 6 months, about 6 months, once a week.
Ah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
And most people would say, gosh, isn't that very expensive? But most insurers now do cover acupuncture. In fact, I think they all cover acupuncture.
They all do. Yeah. And it's an investment on yourself and on your health. It's not money to throw away. This is an investment on your health. That's why
a course of treatment is usually considered 10 sessions. So certainly by the end of 10 sessions, you would be feeling the benefit.
My God, yeah, absolutely. And because I was doing it once a week, I remember because I was working Monday to Friday, Saturday I had my appointment. For 6 months, once a week, I had my appointment. And I would go regularly, and I did acupuncture, received that, and then the doctor gave me herbal medicine as well, so tiny little tablets.
Yes, the little pills, yeah.
Tiny, so I had to count them like 15 at a time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that as well. And then I remember it was my introduction to the Taoist meditation, the microcosmic orbit as well. So she taught me to do that as well. So by the end of the 6 months, everything changed inside. It was phenomenal. That's why I love traditional Chinese medicine so much, because it helped me so much. And, and something that I really want to revisit now that I'm going through perimenopause, but I can testify to that, it was amazing. And then after the 6 months, I will go once a month just to keep
a top up. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
and
good
I did that
idea.
for a couple of years, and then now I go once in a while when I feel the need. But for a while, I did it quite a lot, like once a week, because I felt this is an investment on my health. I'm not
Well, the
throwing.
idea of doing it regularly once a week for a period of sessions is because each treatment builds on the last one.
Yes.
So we're trying to repattern the energy in the body.
Yeah.
So if somebody can go once a week for even 5, 6 treatments, 10 treatments, as much as, I know it's,
Yeah.
you think about the costs of things. And
Yeah.
usually a treatment is around, I charge €65. Some people may be more, some people may be less. And if your insurance can they do maybe 50%, they cover maybe 50%. I don't know. It depends on your cover and your insurer. But, it is a way to really look at really supporting the body and preparing the body to go through it and come out the other side of it as well, feeling less drained and with more energy and with a more sense of balance in the body.
Yeah, because when you're in that
Worth
state,
investigating.
yeah, exactly. Because when you're in that state, you can actually function much better. And this is my time to rest. This is my time to work. Everything flows.
And putting yourself first for a while, and I think when we're at this age, it's like, oh jeekers, we're doing it for everybody else, which is fine, which is good, which is lovely, but bringing back a bit of energy to ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we don't think about ourselves, and we keep going and giving, and then when our cup is empty, what do we give? Nothing. So we have to fill our cup before we can give to others, I guess. Yeah. Is there anything else? No, I think actually want to ask you if people want to reach you, where do they find you?
I have my website, myhealth.ie. Or if you just put in Sally Dunne acupuncture, the website should come up, myhealth.ie. And I've got information about all the classes I do and the somatic movement and about acupuncture and that. So it's a lot of stuff to read there anyway, which is useful.
So I'm going to put all the links again beside or underneath the video, depending where it's going to be shared. But and then so people can reach you for acupuncture and somatic movement and whatever they need, basically. So thank you so much for being here. This was very nice, and we touched nice points. The rest thing, rest. That was actually really down in big letters. Rest, because I don't rest enough. And and women tend to go. So I guess society, I don't know, but so rest. I'm gonna rest as much.
Yep. Recharge the batteries. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. This is something I have to do. I know, and I'm guilty of not doing it. So I'll take. I took note actually of that, and rest. Top of my list. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
so
Michela.
much, and we will talk soon.
Sacred woman I am, with bare feet I walk across the river's stones, with water in my blood and the earth in my bones. I tend a fire in my heart so I am never alone. Sacred woman I am.